Hey guys, it's Marcus Maloney, the Equity King, coming to you again here in Phoenix. Just wanted to kind of go over a few things that I've been noticing. I've been going to quite a few networking events and things of that nature, and I'm noticing that there are a lot of newbies trying to get into real estate investing, which that's a good thing. It's definitely not a bad thing. Everyone had to start from somewhere at some point in time, and I started actually in a similar fashion. So I kind of wanted to go over some of the misconceptions that the newbies are learning here in Phoenix and throughout the nation as some of the gurus are going around doing their pitches. One thing that I wrote on my blog was a blog topic stating, newbies, stop wholesaling now. Stop wholesaling, stop trying to wholesale, stop trying to do it, especially if you don't have any money. One of the things that the gurus try and teach you is, hey, have you heard this? Make $5 to $10K in 30. So make $5,000 to $10,000 in 30 days. Yes, it's possible. That's what they tell you. It's possible. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Well, anything is possible, you know, but is it a reality? It's a chance, but it's a slim chance. Have you heard this? No money, no problem. You can get into wholesaling with no money. You don't need anything. As long as you have the ambition and the drive, you can get it done. False. What else have you heard? No credit, no problem. Have you heard that? I'm pretty sure you have. All of this sounds familiar. Everything in this block right here, I'm sure you've heard. You know, if you've been listening to YouTube videos, podcasts, or going to different seminars, you know, make 5K in 30, no money, no problem, no credit, no problem. I'm pretty sure all of that sounds familiar, but I'm here to tell you the real. I'm here to tell you exactly what you need to do, and it takes money to make money. I'm sure you've heard that. It definitely takes money to make money. So you got to have some form of money. You got to have some form of currency, something that you can put into it. You have to have some sweat equity, and you have to have some capital. And the reason why you need to have that is because you have marketing expenses, you have earnest money deposits that you have to put down, and you have fuel costs. So a lot of people say, hey, you know what, go out and do driving for dollars, that's absolutely free. Hey, fuel cost, you know, and then once you do drive for dollars and you find that property, once you get it under contract, a lot of sellers want you to have some skin in the game. So you got to have an earnest money deposit. You know, a lot of times, and this is true, that, you know, the novice seller is unaware about the earnest money deposit, and you can put down $10, you can put down $20, or something like that. I've done deals where I put down absolutely no earnest money deposit, and took that risk and still came out ahead. But normally you need to have a sizable earnest money deposit. I had a contract and went and spoke with the seller a couple of weeks ago, and I had a light earnest money down on the contract. And he wasn't a novice, he was very savvy, and he said, well, this earnest money deposit isn't going to work. You know, we need to have at least $2,000 earnest money on the table in order to get the contract. So with that being said, if I didn't have the $2,000, guess what? No deal. But I understood, you know, the potential profit that I was going to make on the back end on this deal. So I did up my earnest money to $2,000. But again, that earnest money came right back to me, and this is something that I'll explain later, how you can still do this with absolutely no money out of your pocket. Or, well, it can be out of your pocket for a moment. So, and then again, marketing. Marketing is very important because all of your leads are going to come from your marketing. So if that's bandit signs, if that's direct mail, if that's Facebook ads, if that's Google pay-per-click campaigns. You have to have some money. You can't do any marketing without any money, and that's definitely important. Even bandit signs, you have to pay a couple of $100 to get a good, decent number of bandit signs in order to get your name out there. And then let's go to the credit. Yeah, you don't have to have credit per se in a traditional sense, but one thing you do have to have is credibility. The root word for that is credit. You know, a lot of people are not going to do deals with people that don't have any credibility. You don't have any testimonials. You don't have anybody that can vouch for you per se. So a lot of times what people, when they receive a direct mail piece or, you know, they see your bandit sign, once they talk to you and they get your name, guess what the first thing they're going to do? Google you. And if something comes up, you know, on your name that jeopardizes your credibility, you're not going to get the deal. So you definitely have to have credit. And one thing I always like to tell people and show them is that when people make this statement, what's the common denominator, the common thing in here? No. 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 So if you have no money, no deal. And then you'll have many problems. So let's just remember and let's use common sense that, you know, it takes money to make money. And newbie, stop wholesaling now. I'm going to show you some specific ways where you can start and get into the wholesaling industry without a lot of money, without a lot of credibility, without much of a marketing expense, without putting up your own earnest money deposit, but you will need to use your fuel. So let's jump right into that. It's a few things that I want to show you how I got started and how others I know got started. I was on a phone call with someone in a different market, and they said, hey, you know what? I just spent a bunch of money, I think $35,000 to $40,000 on a training curriculum, you know, how to get started in wholesaling. And they have people that give me a call, you know, weekly, these weekly coaching calls, but I'm in this market and they're, you know, across the country, or they're, you know, down south or up north. You know, it's not someone that can really help me go through a deal, and not anyone that's boots on the ground. So I'm gonna show you a few things and a few techniques so you can find that person, you know, that can help you get started, so you can find that person that can be that mentor, but you definitely have to put forth the effort. So let's jump right into this, and I hope you got your pen and your paper. I'm gonna give you some good tidbits, that way you can jot down so you can get into wholesaling. So you can definitely reach your goals of, you know, 2 to 3 deals a month, or, you know, even your first deal, getting your first deal off the ground. My first deal that I did independently, I netted 17K. So I made $17,000 on the first deal, and no, that didn't happen in 30 days. No, it didn't happen in 60 days. No, it didn't happen in 120 days. I had to build up my credibility, you know. I had to spend some money on marketing. I had to have my earnest money deposit, you know. So I had to have, again, that credibility, you know. So let's jump right in. Let me show you a few things, and that way, if you have any questions, you can feel free to comment below. I normally jump right on and respond to the comments, or others that's in the group will respond to the comments. So, hey, let's go. Okay, so as a result of you trying to be a wholesaler, and I know I said, newbie, stop wholesaling now, but I should say, newbie, stop trying to wholesale now if you haven't started. I think that the natural progression is to start bird dogging first, especially if you have no idea what you're doing, and the only thing you're doing is reading and watching videos and things of that nature. There is, again, a natural progression, and that progression is for you to learn and to know what resources there are in your industry and in your area in order for you to get started. So some of the things that I do want to go over with those of you that are trying to get started in wholesaling, to start out by bird dogging. That way you can get the foundation, you can learn the foundation. One of the things you do by starting a bird dog, again, you have no credibility, no one knows you, you have no money, you have no marketing capital, you have no buyers list. What I'm saying, you have no way or source of finding deals. So this is how you will basically get started out as a bird dog, and then eventually work your way up to being a wholesaler. So the first thing you need to start doing is networking. You need to network everywhere. You need to attend your local RIA. And your RIA is the Real Estate Investment Association. So that's your local group. Some people have them in their cities. Some people have subgroups. So there is, maybe 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 in your local market. Go to, and the RIA is good because you'll learn about the industry, and then also at the RIA is all investors. So there may be buy and hold investors, they may be fix and flippers, they may be other wholesalers, they may be realtors, not maybe, but they will be realtors, there will be, capital groups for funding projects. So you'll meet a lot of people at this one function, and you have to make sure that you're willing to be out of your comfort zone and meet these people. And don't be afraid to say, I'm just getting started, I'm trying to find the right avenue and the right area to get started in, and I'm looking at bird dogging. Another thing is attend your local seminars. Yes, the gurus come through and they're trying to sell you something, they're trying to pitch you something, but at the same time, they do have a lot of quality information. They do provide you with a lot of resources, free resources that you don't have to pay for. So, and then also at these seminars, someone had to bring that guru into town. So, you may not be able to meet that guru, but you'll be able to meet the person that's facilitating the whole event. And that person is someone local that's either doing quite a few deals or they're a major player in your area. Next, open houses. You can go to open houses and you can meet a lot of realtors, because a lot of times the realtors that are at open houses are either newer realtors or some pretty aggressive realtors. And when you go to those open houses, you can just let people know, hey, I am a cash buyer working with cash buyers. If you have any pocket listings or any properties that you find difficult to sell, or someone in your brokers that are having difficulty selling the property, give me a call, let me take a look at it, and we can possibly make you a cash offer on the property. This is actually, the open house was actually how I did my first deal. I used to go to open houses every Saturday and Sunday just to meet the different realtors, drop my card in there, and it has, we buy houses cash on the back, and that was a few years ago. And sat and talked with a realtor, and the property was literally 4 blocks from my house. And he gave me a call and said, you know what, this lady's been trying to sell her house. She had numerous offers that fell through. She was divorcing and didn't have any money. She needs an offer ASAP. And because of my networking, I found a local cash buyer, a local flipper that gave me the opportunity to get my first deal. And I made $2,200 on that, one of the first deals that I've ever done. So open houses is a good resource. Also, join wholesale buyers list. I always tell people, get on all the wholesale buyers list in your area. That way you can know who the major players are, for one, and you can analyze those deals that they're sending out. So that way you can really become informed of what areas are selling for what, what rehab costs, how much they're sending them out for, what's the typical ARV and things of that nature, and the percentage of ARV that they're sending them out for. I did this quite a bit because moving here to Phoenix, I knew no one, didn't know what areas was hot, what areas were not. So I would just let those deals come into my email, and I would sit for hours and just analyze deals. Okay. And I had a chair that I basically wore through the bottom out. I called it my money seat. And I would just sit there and I would learn and learn and learn. And I would pick up the phone and call those wholesalers about that property and get additional information and start building that rapport with them, and then letting them know, hey, I'm out here, I'm new, I'm trying to get started. I don't need you to help me with anything. I just need to know kind of what you're looking for, and maybe I can bring something to the table to you. So a lot of newbies, when they get started, they want somebody to give them something, give, teach me, show me, how do I do this? But instead I said, hey, I'm not looking for anything, but I'm trying to provide a service to you. So join that wholesale buyers list. Also, when you're networking, you're gonna be able to build up that credibility and that relationship. When you keep going to these RIA meetings and open houses, you become a local face, so to speak. So people will begin to see you and begin to know you, even if you haven't done a deal. Don't let not doing a deal scare you from being around, some of the major players or even some of the smaller fish that's in the pond. That's the only way you're going to get started. Again, it's a natural progression. You have to start at the bottom and work your way up. You're not just going to jump right out there and start closing, 5 to 10 deals a month. Only way you're going to do that is if you have a lot of money. So don't be fearful. Get out there, get out of your comfort zone, and start building credibility by meeting these people. Again, when you're networking, then you start to build your buyers list. When you go to these real meetings, you get these cards, you find out, what their investment strategy are. If they're buy and hold guys, create a spreadsheet, just buy and hold. So that way, if you come across a thin deal or something like that, and, there's a margin for them to get it at X and then rent it out for, Y, and then they still generate a profit. Working with landlords is a lot easier to find them deals versus the fix and flippers. Then also, by networking, you start building your knowledge base. You start learning, okay, what pockets are hot, what pockets are not, where you can get the good rental incomes from, what areas are high crime areas, what areas that may be high crime areas, but still a landlord can generate a sizable return, monthly return on their rent. And willing to take the risk in that area. I know one area back home in Chicago that's really doing some regentrification and has a really bad stigma, but now investors are going in and they're buying up a lot of those properties. So we're starting to market to those areas, and we're starting to do some deals in those areas, and we're really seeing it turn around. So by doing this, by networking and starting out bird dogging, I really stress that, then you'll find your local mentor. There's an old saying, and I hope I get it right. It says, when the student is ready to learn, the master will appear. So while you're out here doing all of this, people begin to take notice, and then they will say, hey, you know what? I'm looking to start doing this. I'm looking to start a door knocking campaign, or, some other campaign, and they need somebody to fill those shoes. That could possibly be you. And that's how you transition into really doing the wholesaling. Doing the bird dogging. So now you will have a mentor that'll show you and teach you what a good deal is, and you can get out there and you can start making some money while you're learning. So basically, what's the difference between a wholesaler and a bird dog? That's a valid question. A lot of people ask me that. Well, one of the main things, the differences between a wholesaler and a bird dog is the wholesaler has the necessary resources in order to wholesale that transaction. So they have the earnest money deposit, they have the sizable buyers list, or they may have a small buyers list. They understand the industry, they understand the market, they understand what a deal is. So a lot of time bird dogs, they don't know these things and they're learning as they're going. So they have to get out there, they have to trip and fall and make mistakes in order to work their way up through that natural progression. So basically the difference between that bird dog and the wholesaler is just the concept of knowing what to do and what not to do and having those resources and relationships intact. So with that being said, I'm Marcus, the Equity King. Feel free to like this or, subscribe below, add a comment. If you have any questions, please let me know and I'll respond back promptly. So we'll continue our progression into starting bird dogging. Newbie, please, if you're trying to start wholesaling, stop and let's start finding you a natural progression where you can really make it, and transition from bird dogging into wholesaling. All right, it's Marcus signing off. Remember, you can go to equityrealestateblog.com and you can get a lot of free resources and materials we have there. Again, that's equityrealestateblog.com.